Welcome, and thank you for viewing my presentation. My name is Rose Buchanan, and I am currently in the final year of my PhD study with the School of Education at Deakin University in Australia. My study investigates the influences of differences of opinion during group learning on students' capacity to think geographically. Early studies of school geography are based on the Capes and Bayes model. Stoltman defines this as an instructional model focused on content related to distant places. This model emphasizes the ability to draw, label, and interpret physical geographical features on a map based on the remembering of factual information provided. These perceptions of school geography, and indeed classroom teaching practices, still maintain elements of this model today. Australia is currently in the process of designing and implementing a new national curriculum. The proposed curriculum for geography communicates that an educational outcome of learning geography is to be able to apply knowledge and conceptual understandings to new settings, that is, to think geographically about the changing world. This represents a significant shift away from the ability to know, remember, and label physical features on a landscape. It shows an emphasis on students' capacity to apply general knowledge and conceptual understandings to new settings, where thinking is a central part of the objectives of the curriculum. Thinking geographically is elaborated to mean the ability to think logically, critically, and creatively, the opportunity to study current events, and the ability to think critically about contemporary issues. Teachers are also expected to adhere to broader educational objectives, such as those stated within the McInerney Declaration of Educational Goals for Young Australians. In this statement, McInerney suggests that successful learners are able to plan activities independently, collaborate, work in teams, and communicate ideas. The proposed curriculum emphasizes that students should be able to use geographical concepts and skills to think. This presents a challenge for classroom teachers to employ learning activities which expose students to contemporary events, enable them to apply geographical concepts, while fostering students' capacity to think critically and creatively, and to work in teams collaboratively. My study directly engages with the challenge presented by the shift in the direction in the proposal of the National Curriculum for Geography. My research questions are: how do differences of opinion influence the way in which students demonstrate thinking geographically during group learning? In particular, how do these differences encourage students to engage in higher levels of geographical thinking? The data for this study was collected through a 2-week learning sequence in a Year 9 Geography class in Victoria, Australia. Students completed a questionnaire, data gathering worksheets, and 2 group learning activities, focusing on comparing the geographical information about the Chile and HAITI earthquakes of 2010. For each group learning activity, the students were organised into groups of 4 according to their opinion. The types of group included opposition groups with 4 students of 4 different perspectives, combined groups of 4 students with 2 or 3 different perspectives, and similar groups, 4 students with the 1 perspective. As is shown by the green arrows on this slide, the students' conversations were recorded using digital audio recorders. The Thinking Geographically model has been developed to incorporate the core geographical concepts and spatial analysis skills prioritized within the curriculum. These concepts and skills have been structured into 3 levels of geographical thinking, using Anderson and Krathwohl's 2001 revision of the Bloom's taxonomy cognitive processes. For more details in the outline of the model, please refer to the conference paper. In the following slides, I present an analysis of the 2 groups' conversations, both of which were working with the focus question: what is the most important action for the Haitian government to take to prevent such severe death and destruction from future earthquakes? These groups were chosen as they present interesting results, where both groups begin their conversation with the same geographical concept of location. In Group 1, Anna begins by suggesting that Haiti needs to consider the location of their cities. She and Harriet remember the location of their cities from their general knowledge of the earthquake. With Mel's contribution, the students engage with their understanding of the geographical information provided, in this case images, to consider that location is an important factor in the destruction in Haiti. These contributions fall within the lower level of geographical thinking, as the students use the basic concept of location to discuss the event. Evie contributes a proposal based on the other students' discussion of the location of the city, suggesting that they could move the city somewhere else. She enters into the higher level of geographical thinking by creating a proposal based on the previous comments. Anna further contributes within the higher level of geographical thinking, as she evaluates Evie's idea, communicating that it would not be very easy to move a whole city. Then, the students, through Harriet and Anna's contribution, return back to the lower level of geographical thinking and conclude that location is an important factor and should be written down. This ignores Anna's evaluation that moving the city may not be an appropriate option. The group does not question their ideas any further and return to the basic level of location. In Group 2, Casey also begins by suggesting that the city could be relocated. This prompts a lower level discussion about the location of the main cities in Haiti. The group engages with the geographical information of the distance between the fault line and the location of the city. Casey and Zena then use advanced geographical concept of association to discuss that the location of the fault line is associated with a plate boundary. Here, they shift into the intermediate level of geographical thinking as they apply geographical concepts within their analysis. Casey then shifts into higher level geographical thinking as she evaluates her own proposal and considers that it may not be appropriate. Where the similar group returned to a lower level of geographical thinking following the evaluation of a proposal, the opposition group has used the advanced concept of distribution to compare the Chile and Haiti earthquakes. They consider the similarities and differences in the geographical information to understand the two phenomena. The opposition group uses spatial analysis here and demonstrates intermediate geographical thinking. Casey's contribution, linking with the Chilean government, encourages the group to continue with their spatial analysis, and they then use the concept of association to consider the relationship between the proportion of people living below the poverty line and the number of deaths recorded. This is analysed in further detail within the conference paper. Lisa then raises an important consideration about the relationship between poverty in Haiti and the idea of providing them with money. Here, she is evaluating the evidence the group has discussed within the spatial analysis, thus demonstrating high-level geographical thinking. This prompts both Zena and Sarah to create a new proposal based on the spatial analysis, by suggesting that they could provide them with food or things instead of money. This excerpt demonstrates the students engaging in a sustained period of high-level geographical thinking, as Lisa continues with an evaluative process by using a question to demand the group to continue to develop the idea further before it is accepted. This analysis poses questions of why the opposition group is able to maintain their conversation within the intermediate and higher levels of geographical thinking when the similar group started in the same point and returned to lower level geographical thinking. The factor that seems to contribute to this difference is that the opposition group, with their initial different perspectives, were faced with the challenge of trying to negotiate these differences to gain a consensus. This process places them in a disposition to question the evidence and ideas presented to them. They do not simply accept an idea without challenging it. This is evidenced by Lisa's question at the end of the excerpt, where she demanded the group consider the idea further before they accept it. The The similar group, as they had previously established that they already agreed, were not in the disposition to extend Anna's evaluation, and they simply accepted location as an idea because they had previously established that they agreed. Hence, this disposition encourages students to think critically and logically within the task. This is a central aspect of thinking geographically, which is central to the National Curriculum for Geography. I'd like to thank you for viewing my presentation, and I look forward to any further comments or questions.